What's good, beautiful people? How are you? This is your girl Divine Karma coming in with a chit chat on this evening. I sent you peace, light, love, and harmony as I always do about this time. Why? Because Divine Karma loves you, baby. Bees like that some days. You just want to sit on the floor. I got crystals. I'm on my grounding mat. I'm just notebook, writing, doodling. It's that kind of energy, right? Again, I send you peace, light, love, and harmony as I always do about this time. Why? Because divine karma loves you, baby. You know, it's easy to get sidetracked, and sometimes spirit and our guides and angels have a way of, you know, sometimes subtle and not sometimes not so subtle, reminding us of the path we are supposed to be on. And I've been getting so sidetracked with different multiple external, factors that Spirit reminded me that I need to get back what I need to get back to. All right. So, for those of you that don't know, uh, I am a medium. My channel, I do, I have all the clairs and voyance and all those things. So, I always ask Spirit, what's my message on today? And there's been a topic Spirit has been putting on my soul to speak about for the last few days. And again, I got distracted. But so many people have autistic children. And I've time traveled many times, I've astral projected many times, and I've gotten so many downloads about the misunderstanding and I don't want to say misunderstanding, but hidden information, I'll say, when it comes to autistic children and children on the spectrum, right? Spirit, speak to me, through me, and for me, use me as your vessel. There's always been children like that, right? Before somebody says, it ain't always been autistic children. It's always been, they just decided to put a label on it and address it. And, Big Pharma had to get their hands on it so they can make medicine and get millions of dollars that they get a year, right? And my heart, I send so much love to, any parent or parents that have, an autistic child or autistic children. It can be very challenging. I do not. And so when I'm speaking from a spiritual aspect, spiritually, just from, my experience being around autistic children, my experience, in time traveling and being a medium and getting downloads and understanding, the spiritual energy of an autistic child, right? It's bittersweet sometimes because when it comes to medication, and I'm not a doctor, let me put my disclaimer out, because, when I talk to parents of autistic children, it's like this energy of they hate the fact that they have to put them on medication, right? Because you know what the medication is going to do. It's going to, kind of dumb them down a little bit. Not calling your child dumb. I'm not saying that. I'm saying energetically, it dumbs them, dumbs them down a little bit in order to try to, control um, the dynamics, for lack of better words, of an autistic child. And it's so bittersweet because you want them to be more comfortable, right? For your sake and theirs, for your safety and theirs. But you also know, and like I said, I'm speaking from friends that I have that have autistic children, but you also know that, in doing that and putting them on medication and things of that nature, it at some point doesn't allow them to be their 111% selves, right? So it's such a tough position to be in. And like I said, I send so much love to anybody that has autistic children or any children that they say are on the spectrum, as they call it, but on a spiritual level. Autistic children are what is classified, back in the day, I did a lot of reading about, a lot of research and read a lot of stuff about Edgar. I think his name is Edgar Casey. And when I first got woke and learned about, rainbow children, indigo, star seeds, and things of that nature, my personal opinion, I believe every autistic child is a star seed or indigo or crystal child or rainbow child. There's so many titles, but what do these titles mean? The energy of an autistic child, and like I said, I'm speaking from downloads, I'm speaking from channeling for people that have autistic children, and I'm speaking spiritually, and I'm speaking from, spiritual readings I've read when it comes to autistic children. And they don't understand the chaos on this planet. So it puts them in this energy of WTF is going on? Where am I? Right? So I'm going to try to paint a picture on what it's like for an autistic child. Autistic children, in my personal opinion, are probably outside of infants and babies, and outside of infants or babies and someone that's about to transition, right? Outside of those arenas and those individuals, autistic children are they are more close to God, Source, Buddha, Yah, whoever that is for you. I don't care what you call it. Autistic children are more close to Source, to God, to Spirit, to the divine, outside of the other, individuals I just named than anybody else. That's why none of this makes any sense to them, right? And I remember when I was reading years ago, research from Edgar Casey, I think is his name, and he talked a lot about this, and it made so much sense. They don't understand authority, right? So imagine their soul, like they come out of the womb. That's why I say outside of infants and babies, because infants and babies, and toddlers and young children, they are very still close. They still have that purity in them, right? They're still so close to God. But with an autistic child, with a regular child, as they grow, and you put them in all these things and organizations and schools and religion and all these man-made facets, they grow, they get programmed and grow out of it, right? So imagine for an autistic child, they don't grow out of it. Doesn't matter how old they are. They are in that energy for their whole life. So what does that mean? They are still close, super close. Their soul is like still energetically intertwined with God or the divine or spirit in a way that most adults that aren't spiritual and you can't they don't disconnect from that. They don't understand authority, right? So I want you to think about everything that we've been told about spirit, the divine. Like I said, don't get caught up in the name, the source of everything, the creator of all. And you think of that energy, how pure it is. You think the spirit doesn't understand authority and someone being over them and telling them what to do and all these programs and channeling and don't do this and these rules and all. That is the energy of an autistic child. They don't understand the chaos on this planet. It doesn't resonate with them energetically. It's not a vibration they can vibe to. It's not a frequency that they can tune into because it's not in them to do so. It's not. They don't understand the programming. They don't even like autistic children, you trying to show them a religion and tell an autistic child that if you don't do this, that, and the third, or believe in this, that, you're going to go to some place, that they say is below the earth that has fire in it. An autistic child, they're not even going to be receptive to that. Why? Because they are still connected to the divine in a way that we can't fathom. And it doesn't change. You can put them in school. It's not going to matter. That's why a lot of parents, they get, a special teacher or someone, put them in some kind of special school, or a lot of schools now are getting different classes for autistic children. And I'm not talking about the, what is it, IP classes or whatever for folks claiming their child got ADHD when in all reality their child probably just bad as hell. Not all of them, but I'm just saying, I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about someone that can deal with them on that level. And to be honest with you, in a world that I see, in the new world that I, embody, there will be more. There's going to be more. I'm hoping there's going to be more individuals that are spiritually connected, like myself, awakened. And I'm not talking about religious folks. I'm talking about individuals that are awakened, that are conscious, that are, in their spiritual energy, right? To be able to connect to autistic children because that's what they need. They don't get rules. Freedom to an autistic child is not a word. It is the foundation and essence of everything they stand on, right? Because the saying freedom is our birthright, those aren't just words for an autistic child. Their soul resonates with that without it being said. That's all their soul knows. Being free is my birthright. I don't understand your rules. I don't understand medicine. I don't understand why am I taking this stuff. I don't understand the chaos. Autistic children don't understand why humans treat each other the way that they do. When you talk about an unconditional love, autistic children have an unconditional love that is pure source energy, right? It's not tainted. It's not corrupted. It's not, programmed and channeled from all these outside forces. Autistic children have an untainted purity, unconditional love that is of God, that is of spirit, that is of the creator, of the most high. You can't shake it. You can give them all the medicine in the world. It's still going to be there. Now, the medicine might make them, less active, but trust me. Do you think the divine is going to allow Big Pharma to make a medicine that will remove that? It's not going to happen. I don't care what you put your autistic child on. This energy that I'm speaking about will not go away. Medication can help them manage things better externally, right? But when it comes to that source connect, like there's nothing that's going to change that. Nothing. They will always they will grow to be 45 in age, and for some autistic children that means they're still, an adolescent or teenager mentally. Doesn't matter when it comes to that frequency, that God frequency that I'm talking about. They're still going to have it. Unconditional love is not two words for them. Again, that's what their soul knows because they are that close to source. When I think about autistic children, and I don't want anybody's parents like you think it's easy. No, I know it's not easy. But in my opinion, they are the most beautiful individuals to me because that connection that they have to source, that unconditional love that breathes and moves through their DNA naturally, that purity, that God frequency, that is commanding and demanding in their DNA at all times, even when they're asleep. That is one of the most beautiful things you can have. And that's a frequency that, a lot of us, when we awaken and come into our spirituality and we wake up and, and realize that we've been in this matrix the whole time. and we get closer to source, to spirit, and not religious and not religious beliefs and ideologies and all that. I'm talking about that sacred, beautiful connection that a lot of us, we shy away from or get away from because when we grew up, we got thrown into religion and school and organizations and all this, that, and the third, right? And we come back to it. Like I've come back to it, but there's still a lot I'm still learning, right? Because I woke up, what, in my late 40s, mid late 40s, right? So I got a lot, had a lot of catching up to do. But just imagine your autistic child doesn't have any catching up to do. They came out the womb like this. And a lot of times you have to understand guides and ancestors and angels. They are around artistic children all the time. They are always talking to them. They are always playing with them. A lot of you have autistic children that is you are they always looking off somewhere joking and laughing and playing, or I just saw like a child, like an autistic child, going to a special corner or a special spot in their room or in the house all the time. It's because that's where they get the best reception. Their guides and angels are talking to them, playing with them, guiding them. We wish we could have it that good. Even the most spiritually enlightened, you can be a monk from Tibet, right? It's no comparison, in my personal opinion, than the God frequency that an autistic child has, right? When they say, oh, they're on the spectrum, when I see that word and it's in reference to an autistic child, the spectrum to me looks like humans, eh, most of them into religion and not really connected to source in that way. Then you get halfway through the spectrum and you got, religious folks that believe in God and or believe in, whatever, but they, are still religious, but have good intention. And then that meter starts to tilt past that half into the three-quarter, then to the autistic. And for me personally, in between that half and that autistic, right around that three-quarter area, you have, people like myself, people, conscious folks. I use the word conscious community loosely, but for lack of, just for the conversation. And, spiritual people, healers and things of that nature, mediums and psychics and people that got these gifts, from the Most High. All of us did, but I'll say those that use them, right? Those are the ones that fall in that from that half to that autistic spectrum, right at about that three-quarters. And then you got that autistic child all the way to the right? And all the way on that side of the spectrum. On this side, you have dormant, low frequency vibrations. Then you got that autism spectrum all the way to the right where that autistic child is. And that's that God frequency, right? That's the energy of the Most High. That's that beautiful divine connection that is embedded in their DNA, right? That's what I see when people say, "Oh, they said my child is on the spectrum." Okay, your child is on the spectrum. That, in my opinion, that means they in that three-quarter, and above, right? So I think a lot of times, and I'm not downing psychiatrists, all the special people that deal with autistic children, not downing them. Good, glad that y'all took that under your belt. But I can't wait to see in the new earth where individuals that may have, maybe a background, social worker, psychology, whatever the background is that deals with autistic children, and they also embody the energy like myself and spiritually awakened other people, right? Mediums and channelers and psychics and all of that, like people that had all those combinations to guide and be with autistic children, whether it's, a school for them and they're teaching them or they're doing private work, per child. I can't wait to see that because I honestly think, and like I said, this is just me being in my new earth mindset that I talk about, that it is going to raise the vibration, not just of the planet, but the vibration of autistic children as a collective on a soul level, right? To bring them into, because they already got that God frequency and one with source, but to bring all of them as a collective, no matter where they are on the planet, their souls meeting, in the astral world or dreamland or whatever have you, in the fifth dimension. And there's somebody that connected that can do that and spend that time with them every day and understand, right? And when they go off into a corner and start speaking, that there's an individual, who's with them that's like, which angel is that there today, right? Because I can see me like being with an autistic child and they go off in the corner. And I'm like, is that an ancestor? Is that an angel, archangel? Who is it? Is it the divine itself, right? Who is it? Can I talk to them too? Right? That's the energy that autistic children need around them. And if you're a spiritually awakened, parent that's already, awakened and in that energy already, man, bless your soul. Because there's going to be days that your artistic child is, they're really on a soul level going to understand, oh, okay, you know who I am, right? Because most autistic children, they around people that they don't they don't know this part of them. They don't know the spiritual part of them. They don't know what all that means. They don't even know the spiritual definition and spiritual ingredients, for lack of better words, of an autistic child. They're around people that have degrees. Again, not downing any psychiatrists or social workers or whoever it is that deal with us, not downing them. But it's different, right? When you're on that spiritual level with them, right? And even if, some autistic children don't speak, even if they don't speak it, if you're on that level with them, your soul and their soul is going to have conversations that your mind can't even fathom because their soul is going to look at your soul and be like, well, I'll be. You know who I am? Yes, I know who you are. You're an autistic child. I know how close you are to the divine. Tell the divine I said hello because I tell the divine hello all the time. But yes, I know who you are. I know that the angels are around you. I know they're around you. It's fine. This is a safe space. They can be here. Like they need that, right? That's what they need. So that's my take on autistic children now that they've labeled it. Me personally, back in the day, they were just, in my eyes, gifted children. They were just gifted. Most autistic children are clairvoyant or clairaudient, clairsentient, clear, whatever, any of the clairs or all of the clairs. But because of their inability to express themselves, and I think, it doesn't get, recognized, but I think that inability to express themselves is, or to overreact or react a certain way that's not, I truly think it comes from the purity of their soul and this chaotic energy of humanity clashing consistently. And because they're in this, they're here in this matrix now, that humanity, the ego, the selfishness, the lack of unconditional love, how we treat each other, the craziness that goes on the planet, the food that we eat, the stuff that they put in our water, the stuff that they put in our food, like all of that energy is clashing with that pure divine energy that they have. So when these two meet, it just brings about, you know what I'm saying? Not in a bad way, but it's uncontrollable. Like, and so, you have to have sympathy because that's their life every day. That clash is happening for them every day. Them not understanding what in the blue magic hair grease is going on. Why am I here? How did I get here? Right? Some of y'all, your autistic children might be like, I want to, that warm, the womb, that warm place I was in before I came here. I want to go back there. Right? So, if you have autistic children, I hope, like I said, this was coming from me spiritually. And I send you so much love, so much peace. I personally think in the new earth, which is another conversation, autistic children are going to reign and rule in an area all their own that we as well y'all, because I don't consider myself human, but humans will be able to learn from, to be able to understand, and more than anything, be able to absorb that frequency, right? So it can, man, so it can clothe us again, can adorn us again, right? In that same way that it does them. That God frequency that's in them, it can, man, give CPR to our DNA to get us back to that level, right? So that's my message on today. Y'all know the drill. I love you, and I love it when you love me back. And I will see y'all on the next message. Peace.